The Knicks and the Clippers played on Sunday, and the Knicks take an impressive victory against the Clippers, 106 to 100. The Clippers started off very hot. They started off with a 10-0 lead on the Knicks, but the Knicks, as they've shown this season, they have a lot of heart. They have a lot of grit. Tom Thibodeau is one of those coaches that's known for his defense. He's known for firing up his players. He's known for having teams that never give up, that they're going to be pests. They're going to be pests from the first quarter to the last quarter. They're going to give you a lot of energy. Some people fault Tom Thibodeau for that type of way. They say that his team's kind of burn out by the time the playoffs get here. We'll see how that plays out this season, but it has to be said that it's working right now for the Knicks. If you're a Knicks fan, this is probably the most excited you've been about your team in a long, long time. I would argue that I would be more excited about this Knicks team than those Carmelo Anthony teams. Yeah, those teams, maybe. I don't know. Those teams, I might be stuck in the present too much, but this team is exciting as a neutral. Seeing the Knicks play and make these comebacks, Derrick Rose getting traded by the Pistons to the Knicks, it's just been a sight to behold. And I enjoy watching Knicks basketball. Let me know what you guys think about the Knicks. If you guys are Knicks fans, let me know. Do you think this is a better team than those Carmelo Anthony teams that made the playoffs, or is this kind of like a little bit before them? Because I'm very excited about this Knicks team. Like, since they traded for Derrick Rose, they have a 27-15 record. They're the 4th seed in the East right now, so they could get home field advantage in the first round. And it looks like they're either going to play the Hawks and the Heat. And the Knicks, as they're playing right now, I would not be surprised if they make it to the second round and they give one of these other teams a run for their money. Derrick Rose yesterday was amazing. I love seeing Derrick Rose play. I love seeing Derrick Rose succeed. I love his comeback story. For a second there, it looked like it wasn't going to happen. I know he had like a 50-point game with the Timberwolves, and that was amazing too. But now I think this is the best I've seen Derrick Rose since his little downhill that he had after the Bulls, with all those injuries, with the meniscus, with the ACL. I think this is the best I've seen of Derrick Rose. His 3-point shot looks good, which is crazy because I thought he was never gonna get it. Or for a second there, it looked like, he's always gonna be like a mediocre to below average 3-point shooter, but now he's shooting like above 40. He might be on 41% with the Knicks, and he just looks smooth. He looks silky smooth. He can still get to the rim at will. He still has a good enough burst to accelerate past most defenders, and he just looks calm and composed most of the time when he has the ball. So I love watching Derrick Rose against coming off the bench for the Knicks. Yesterday he had 25 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists. He was the main man for the Knicks yesterday. Julius Randle didn't really have too many points yesterday. He finished with 14 points, I believe. And he had 6 in the last 3 minutes. So he had 8 points basically the whole game. Derrick Rose was the one that kept them in the game, brought them back, kept them even keel with the Clippers. But Julius Randle, most improved player of the year, in my opinion. 8 points through 3 quarters and about 9 minutes. And in the last 3 minutes, when the Knicks needed someone to close out the game, Julius Randle shows up, gets 6 points in the last 3 minutes to close out the game. And they were sending anybody that they were sending Batum, they were sending Paul George. They were sending a bunch of people at Julius Randle, and it didn't matter. He got to his spot. He got to that mid-range shot that he's perfected this season, and he came through for them, got them the win. Impressive victory by the Knicks. Man, like if you're a New Yorker, you should be excited. Like, yeah, this is the year of the Nets. Everyone's talking about the Nets, but the Knicks are stealing headline, man. I love watching the Knicks play. They're a fun team to watch. They're like an underdog story, kinda. So like it's fun to root for them. And now the Knicks have a 1-game advantage on the Hawks and the Heat, with 4 games left. So we'll see how they're able to finish out the season. The Lakers, the Spurs, the Hornets, and the Celtics are remaining in the Knicks' schedule. So the Lakers might be a little tough. Celtics at the end, tough. Spurs and Hornets are battling for the play-in positions. So it's a kind of rough stretch, but the Celtics, they have a 3-game lead against the Celtics, who are the 7th seed. So if worst comes to worst, I don't think the Knicks will slip into the playing position. There will be a playoff team this year. There's playoff basketball coming to New York, and that is amazing. So go Knicks. As far as the Clippers go, they're still the third seed. They have a 1-game lead over the Nuggets. The Clippers, they were all healthy. I think the Clippers are still probably the most dangerous team in the Western Conference right now. I think this was just a good game by the Knicks, but the Clippers finished with the Raptors, the Hornets, the Thunder, and the Rockets. So they could run the table. They're probably not going to catch up to the Suns. They have a 3-game advantage on them. So I'm pretty sure the Clippers, at this point in time, they're kind of locked in at the 3 spot. So we'll see who ends up at the 6 between the Mavericks or the Trailblazers. I don't think the Lakers are going to have enough in them to climb out of the 7th seed. So we're either going to see a Clippers Mavericks or Clippers Trailblazers playoff series. I would like to see Clippers Trailblazers. Last year, Clippers Mavericks was a great first round matchup, but I think this year I would love to see a Trailblazers versus Clippers PG-13 versus Damian Lillard rematch. I think that would be amazing. So that's what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for Clippers Trailblazers matchup. I'm not too worried about the Clippers. I don't think this losing to the Knicks is anything to be upset about. The Knicks are a great team. They were in LA though, but the Knicks are a good team. So there's nothing wrong about that. I think the Clippers have been playing good as of late. So it's not a bad thing for the Clippers. I think they might finish 4-0. They might run the table, and they'll be ready for the playoffs. But the Knicks are nice, man. If you guys haven't watched Knicks basketball, they have one of the best commentators. So the whole ambiance of watching Knicks games is nice. I like watching Knicks games, so make sure to catch some Knicks games if you haven't